Guys, welcome back to another vlog. Remember I said we'd fire some questions away at Tusi when she's in the office? Well, here she is in the office with her work glasses on and her M&S coffee.
Really good, better than Starbucks.
Oh, that flat white's nice. Did you try yours yet, Hannah?
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, this is actually a nice flat white.
It's really good.
Basically, Hannah Dykes, remember in my vlog I said I bought these for Hannah because she wants them? Well, she's forgotten that she even likes them. And now she's unbothered and I'm
What's
like...
Alex doing about it?
Right!
No, it's nice.
No, I'm joking.
They are nice.
I bought some for myself. These are for you.
You got something.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all for me.
Yeah.
Oh, so much.
Yeah, I bought myself just as much, don't worry. They'll be here next year, won't they? You'll be like, I'm still eating my way through it. Well,
You guys should come to Berlin.
yeah, no, I was just telling her she would love it.
Yeah,
She would
I would
love
like to
it.
visit Berlin.
I was saying I feel like I want to travel more, so what can we trade, like, because I feel like I don't want it just for my birthday, I want it regularly.
Trade Sid's health, which you have.
Look at his face, he's like, there's going to be nothing left of me. Sid, should we just get a nanny again? No, I can't.
You mind?
The only person I would trust to look after my kids is you. But I want to go away with you, so that's not going to work. No, obviously I'm family and stuff.
He's signed up to do that Code Academy.
I found another one. My friend told me about it. She also transitioned to code. Let me find it. She said it's the best thing. She said it's the best.
I do that as well, don't I?
She's tried all of them and she said this is the best thing you'll ever find. I think it's called CS.
So Tusi's just telling Hannah about different coding academy.
Okay, it's a Harvard College certificate in coding. It's called CS.
I need to give these guys
and
context after this. What do you do, Tusi, for work?
I'm
Why are you laughing?
consultant developer.
There we go. What does that mean?
So I'm like a software developer initially, and I'm also a consultant in IT.
So what do you actually do?
Depends on the project. We have different clients and different projects, and then...
What's your typical work day
What do you
like?
actually do?
What's your typical work day like?
At the moment, I train people.
And interview people? Do
Everyone
you do any
interviews.
coding?
Yeah.
There we go. She's a coder with lots of other roles. So, a bunch of you sent in really good questions because Tusi is a woman in tech and that can be a hard thing to do. And I thought it'd be really good to do a little career advice Q&A kind of thing because Tusi is that kind of independent woman, traveling the world, working abroad, all that good stuff that most of us are too scared or don't even know how to start
All that good shit.
doing. And basically, this question came up a lot. Most
weird seeing myself in the
yeah,
camera.
listen to this. Most tech teams are male-dominated. Have you had any negative experiences?
Fortunately, I have not, because my first and only tech job was in a company where they really value people from ethnic minorities and women in tech, and they really push for more women in tech. So, if anything, I haven't had that issue, but I've heard a lot about it. And I know it still can be intimidating, because although my workplace is really open to that and really aware of that, and we don't have any issues, there is still, I find myself in a lot of teams where it's male-dominated. I wouldn't even say like white male-dominated, but male-dominated, and that is intimidating for me because I already have imposter syndrome. So I naturally will feel more intimidated, yeah. And also, because we're a consultancy, if we go and consult on clients, they're in other companies that we'll walk into to make changes, and a lot of the time, yeah, in some companies or many IT companies, it will be very male-dominated. So it is hard.
What made you move to Berlin? And how hard is it to start your life over in a new country? Maybe you can talk to them a bit how you've actually done this before.
Have I?
Norway.
Oh yeah. What made me move to Berlin? I, to be honest, have wanted to work and travel for a long time. And after being in lockdown in the UK, which was okay because I was in between Cardiff and London and had an okay lockdown.
Living with me, mate.
Yeah, and
Really?
I just got, lived with you, lived with Hassan. Then I kind of just got tired of being in the UK and I just needed a new challenge. So I thought, you know what, I would want to move further away, but because of the pandemic, it's better to stay in like mainland Europe or something, so I'm closer to home if anything happens. And also I was like, you know what, then I can travel Europe a bit by train or something and just explore around there a bit more and try living in a different European city. And I've been to Berlin a few times. I have a few friends there already, and my other friend had moved recently, my really close friend, so I had a bit of I wasn't worried to move. It felt like, yeah, it'll be fine. And what was the rest of the question?
That was it, well done. Advice for people currently working towards finding a job in your field, having no background in tech. That's basically what you did. You had no
What
background.
I did was, my friend she was doing her PhD in physics. I was working with her contracting in financial services in London.
Who's that?
Ruth. And hi Ruth, if you do watch this. And then basically a lot of people she went to uni with got into coding. They did boot camps. So then one of the guys, he said, hey, why don't you come to this thing called Code Bar? Google it. It's in a lot of cities around the world. Codebar.io.
I'll leave the link in the description.
Yeah, and they were like, it's this event that happens in London, in a few places in London, and it's to get people into coding. They have tutorials on their website too. Hannah, good. They have tutorials on the website. Yeah.
Where?
Code Bar.
Code Bar.
That's how I learned. Anyway, so you go there and it's a meetup, and it's in different tech companies for one evening in a night, one evening in a week, and yeah, there's software developers that volunteer their time, and the people who set it up, and they have pizza and drinks and stuff, and you kind of socialize, and then you spend 2 hours pairing up with a developer, and they'll teach you whatever you want. Even if you already know how to code and you're working on a certain project, you want advice, you want to learn a new language, they'll start mentoring you.
And it's free.
It's free, and it's for people from minorities, ethnic minorities and other minorities.
Oh, so Hannah can't do it.
Women in tech. Hannah could do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just googled it. There's one in Bristol.
Yes, there is.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
It's really good. It's really, really, really amazing. So I went to a few of them. One of them was in Google. One of them was in all the tech offices were so cool. One had a slide into a ball pit. They had amazing food. Google
Why
offices.
are tech offices so cool?
Because they're just chilling, bean bags. Anyway, so first time I went there, I had no idea what code was. I went, had some free pizza. Great.
I remember that when you told me
with
about
this
that.
guy who was an English teacher, and he hated his job and he got really sick of teaching people. So he decided to learn to code on Free Code Camp, another great website that I used to learn. And then he basically did that every evening. He'd go to a cafe after work every evening and learn to code. And 6 months later, he got an internship, and then he started working in tech, and he's a software developer now. When he told me his story, I was like, what? This is possible? I just went to kind of find out what this stuff was, and my friend just recommended, and I was like, okay, let's just go and try this out. I didn't really know if it's what I wanted to do. Then he went through a tutorial with me in this 2 hours, and I built a web page about owls.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And I was like, shit, in the space of an hour or two, I've built a web page. I didn't even know what HTML was. I didn't know what any of this weird code stuff was. I was so amazed by it. And I was like, if that's what I can do in 5 minutes, and it was so easy, and I'd edit stuff and that, I was so proud of it. I was like, that's amazing. So I went to a number of others, went to the Google one, met some people that had really great jobs in Google, giving me such great advice. Then they'd have these talks on how to get into tech and all the different schemes they've got. Then I went to one at ThoughtWorks, because my company that I work for now had one. Found this at ThoughtWorks, and I saw the office. And every office that I went to do these things and network with people, I basically just Googled them, and I was like, oh, let's find out about this tech company. And they're all so interesting and cool. So ThoughtWorks, I just loved their culture, and they're really big on social impact projects, and they're really big on helping people, and they've got this really nice, friendly, open culture, big learning environment. I can talk about it forever, to be honest, but I was so amazed by them, and I was like, I'm obsessed with this company. So I just started bombarding them with applications. And
Did you?
Yeah, and then I taught myself to code, because people I'd met at these code bar places gave me all the resources. Code Academy, Free Code Camp, all of these free online resources that I kept then using, and YouTube videos and stuff like that. And my brother, Yusuf, I was living with at the time, he did games development at uni, and he was working as a software developer, so he also helped me. So yeah, then I kept applying to ThoughtWorks. I then eventually applied to a job as a social media manager, because I was like, I just want to get into tech in some way. I don't even care how. But I told them that I was learning to code, and they invited me for an interview as a junior software developer. And at the time, I'd given up on everything. I was just going on holiday a lot. So then I took a week off work, and I just studied like hell for this interview, because we had to build a little app for part of the interview.
Wait, what were you doing before? Were you in the law job?
No, I was working as an adjudicator in contracting financial services. A lot of you probably will know what that is. Then I got the job there, and I literally couldn't believe it when they told me, because it was 5 or 6 interviews, and they were all very difficult, but very different. They weren't all tech-based. They were personality-based. There's a lot of social justice interviews. I had to research stuff in the news and give my point of view and other points of view and other perspectives, because you have to be very open to working with people of all different perspectives, points of view, and be respectful of that, and be able to debate without getting offended, and all of this stuff is really important in our line of work and the company I work for.
Yeah.
So the interviews are based around a lot of that too. So then I got the job, and that day
It was a long time ago.
Changed my life. Then I went to India for 6 weeks to go to ThoughtWorks University in Pune, and it was an amazing experience, and worked with 60 other people that had joined the company from all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the rest is history.
What have you noticed about different countries' work cultures?
I mean, they're
What's the
different, that's for
differences?
sure. There's so many differences depending on the country. Culture and people, it's going to affect, I don't know, there's just so many differences, but I guess I'm used to it because I've worked in Egypt and I grew up there, and that's a massive contrast. And I've worked...
You've worked in Egypt? Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, so I think I'm used to all of that, so none of it phases me. What I have noticed is that the UK is quite strict and anal about everything, whereas everywhere else I've worked has been a lot more relaxed, and they give their employees a lot more trust, from my experience anyway, a lot more trust and, what's that word, responsibility in general. And like, just you get, I felt like in other places I've worked I've been treated like more of an adult that can handle their own shit, whereas in the UK they love to micromanage.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed.
Yeah. How do you deal with imposter syndrome at work?
Oh, I struggle with that every single day, and how I deal with it is to be very open about it and talk about it all the time. And that's
Do you in work?
all the time.
Well, like what do you say?
I say I've just got massive imposter syndrome. Oh, yeah, I just don't know, or I'm feeling really... I'm just really honest, but my workplace really allows for that. And when I realised that, when people in my workplace who'd worked there for 10 years have write books on tech, give massive talks and all of that stuff, told me how they struggle with imposter syndrome, and they gave talks on it and stuff, and then I realised that I'm not the only one, and no one knows what they're doing, and everyone feels a bit confused, and being honest with it just empowers other people to feel open with being themselves and being honest, and everyone works well together that way, really. And then you're always open to learn, because you're not sat there stressing, being anxious and overworking on your own, panicking when everyone's in the same boat. So I think it's really difficult, because other people who might work in tech at the moment, or other companies, might have different experiences, but I've been lucky enough to have really great experiences with this, so I can only imagine how hard it might be to be in a company that doesn't allow for that. And the start of my career in tech was in a company that is so great at all of these things.
Okay, this one's not tech, but it's because you did this as well. How did you find studying law?
I really enjoyed it. I did fuck all. It was a 10 grand course at the College of Law, or graduate diploma in law. It was really intense, but I think my personality is that I do nothing. And then the night before an exam, I'll study and stay up all night, and I'll usually do fine. So everyone's different, but it is really intense. It's a lot of work and a lot of money. And then afterwards, when I did leave university and wanted to start working in law, the pay is so shit. Honestly, I was being offered like 12, 13 grand a year.
And I remember you hated those jobs. Yeah.
Your arse off and working with really shitty people.
Yeah.
And to get training contracts, you just have to know the right people. It was really difficult for me to even get noticed wearing hijab at the time and having my name on my CV to even get an interview at any of these top law firms. And because my education wasn't perfect, it was just a shitty school in Cardiff and stuff. Like, I didn't have I didn't go to like the top schools or top unis or anything like that. So it was really hard to get, or even have top grades all throughout, because I messed about too much and stuff like that. And then when I got into the tech world, I was like, no one gives a shit about this stuff. They don't give a shit if you went to school even. They don't give a shit. And then I was like, yeah, fuck law. So yeah, no, I don't know. It's a lot of time, effort and money. I feel like I would have had to sell my soul to actually do well in it, but everyone's got different experiences. I have friends that work in the legal field, have worked their arse off though, and are doing really well and really enjoy it because it's very rewarding. It's a necessary job. But my experience was it was really difficult. And if you have to work to live and make money, and you don't have, a family to fund that for you, it's really stressful, really hard to do, I think, in the UK.
What experience do you think I should go for to make sure my CV gets recognised?
The layout of your CV and the keywords, the person that helped me, some really nice person that I know, she is really successful and great, and we became friends, and she basically had a look at my CV.
Who?
You don't know her.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, she looked through my CV as a woman of experience in like tech and social media and loads of different things, and she basically revamped it with all the keywords and everything to get recognized. And after she did my CV for me, she just rearranged it and made me do a little personal summary of the things I'm doing at the moment, and like just worded it so well. Everything I applied for, I got interviews.
Wow.
Yeah, so it really, really makes a difference. I had the same content, but I just didn't know how to set it out. So I would really advise to get other people to have a look into it and to get people to help you with that.
Do you think you should make a video on your CV and how to, because CVs is like the hardest thing ever.
Oh, it really is. Some people are really good at it. Like my friend Zane, he can revamp someone's CV like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but then CVs are really important, and I would advise to get someone else to have a look at it and try and get loads of people's opinions, send it to people, even people you know in different workplaces. Hey, do you want to have a look at my CV? Can you give me any advice? It depends on where you're applying. You can tailor your CV depending on the job, and I did that, and depending on the company and stuff like that. You only need to put the stuff you did in the past couple of years, but like it's really important to do the other stuff you're working on. Like I put in there that I'm learning to code and what I'm doing specifically and stuff like that on my CV. People are like, oh no, I don't have experience to work in tech. I've only worked in all these other companies. But what you don't realize is all these skills that you've got are transferable. And that's the really important thing. And if you don't recognize that, like people know that, recruiters, when they look at it, but they're not going to do that work for you. You have to recognize that all these skills you've learned, you know, being really structured and working to tight deadlines and working really well under pressure, which is what I did, is really going to help you in any industry. So if you can recognize that and show in your CV that you've learned, pull out these keywords of all, I'm adaptable, I can work well, I can work really well under pressure, I can work with loads of different people, I can work well in this sort of environment or that sort of environment, and all the shitty things that you had to deal with in these environments, if you can pull them out as strengths and challenges that you've overcome, you can then apply to any job in any industry.
Can you give us one example of what that might look like?
I don't know, like I worked in a law firm, worked ridiculously long hours to tight deadlines that were changing all the time, had to work with really difficult people in like shitty circumstances, a lot of paperwork, stuff like that. You can then say that you're really good, you can say that you're great at working really well, you can work really well under pressure and you've got experience of like doing so and so and so, and then you can work with, you have to like work really well under pressure, I guess, if that's a simple one that you can pull out, and then you can work to tight deadlines and you can adapt to any changes that come in and things like that. They're the things
work well with others.
Yeah, all of these things, but you can pull out these are just really basic examples, but you can do that with a lot of different things. Like even that you can work well with people from different that's so important in any job. If you can communicate and talk to people from all different, you know, from a top law firm or, you know, all the different levels and all the different, you know, a hierarchy in a company, if you can work with and talk to and communicate with people, with all of them, present, do all of these things, you can get anywhere. It's your personality and communication that really, really matters.
Okay, final question. What things do you need to take into consideration when moving countries?
Well, now, after Brexit, moving from the UK, everything. And luckily my work sorted out a lot of that stuff, but for Germany, there's a lot of paperwork stuff.
But like, what did you consider, like with your salary and like looking at tax and, you know, or also just like a better quality of living?
It depends on your life, what goals you have. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really care about saving or buying a house or doing any of that shit. So for me, it's just experience and enjoying life and meeting people and traveling and things like that. So I want to have the experience of working in a different country, meeting different people, learning about a new place, trying to learn a new language. Just think about where you want to be and what you want to do. And then you can start researching and making it happen, get contacts there, apply for jobs.
Yeah, what your priorities are as well. Because, like, you know how 2C doesn't want to buy a house. And
I mean, Hannah will have a better answer for that.
Why?
Because she's just moved.
I zoned out. What are you talking about?
To random places.
Yeah, you did move to Canada.
Yeah.
Canada, Australia.
Exactly. Hannah would be good for this question.
Well, Hannah's priority is to experience too, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're motivated by experience and travelling the world.
Yeah.
And 2C is too. So if that's
but Hannah's got more to consider because I, luckily, was privileged enough to have work sort all of the shit out, so I didn't need to think about it. Whereas if you are moving to a new country and choosing that, well, now it's harder because of Brexit and that. Like, if you want to move to Europe and that and you're self-employed, for example, or something like that, you have to apply for certain permits, a self-employed visa, you have to get health insurance, you have to get all this, so there's a lot more to consider.
You've got to do all the admin yourself.
But if you go to, like, somewhere like Australia and Canada, Brexit's not
Well, yeah,
affected it.
yeah.
So you can still just go there and get a
And you
working holiday
just get a
visa,
work visa, yeah. You just get a
Yeah.
working holiday
and
visa.
then get sponsored if you want to stay.
See, but that's stuff you have to consider. If I want to move and I stay in my company, I don't need to consider any of this. I just have to say I want to move to this country, and then I let them do all the work. So,
All the paperwork.
yeah, they do everything for me.
When you've moved abroad before, what other things you've had to consider?
I don't really consider much, to be honest.
I knew it. I actually knew it. She just wants to go travelling, man.
I just go.
She just
go.
I'm telling you, Hannah's got less to consider because you're not tied down to anything physical here.
Yeah, but also you're lucky enough to have someone you can do that with.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, I get worried to do things. If I had someone
This is awkward now.
that would, no,
Hannah and Alex's main goal in life is to travel the world.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
So it helps having someone that's like
Yeah.
on the
keen
same
to do
wavelength.
those things.
Yeah.
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 Whereas if you had like a,
If you had,
settled
like,
down job or
yeah.
whatever,
It'd be difficult.
yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
more difficult. So they can work on like those goals together of like finding work. I mean, she's already got this one, which is very, very flexible. But like Alex finding, work that will allow them to travel a bit like Tusi's job.
But we don't find work before we go. We just go.
So, right. Okay, so Hannah's like a rare case. So like most people might consider, well, what about work and stuff? But
you
they
must
just
have to have
deal with
savings.
that. They just deal with it when they get there. Am I right?
But you have savings.
We have enough, yeah, to like get by.
But
Yeah.
also at the same time, you have enough to get by, but you're also not, like, you're very adaptable. So you don't have like, crazy, like you don't like, well, I have to have this, I have to have that. Like you're happily, what have you done before?
Lived in a van.
Lived in a van.
Yeah.
So there are ways to save money because their goal is like experience.
And sometimes it adds to the experience if you don't, you're living in a van, you don't have much money to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do anything else.
yeah. But yeah, we just turn up in the country and hope for the best.
So I guess it does still boil down to what is it you want and what are your priorities,
And
why,
your personality.
and your personality.
What you can cope with.
So, for example, like I'm thinking about moving to Dubai because I really want an experience of living in another country with our little family, whereas Sid's reason to move to Dubai would be because, if I'm right in saying Sid, would be more so because it's a smart financial decision. Like if we sell the house here, innit? You're more motivated by those logical kind of things, whereas I'm like, well, I just want to move abroad. So it all goes back to what you want. So thank you very much, Tusi, for answering those questions. I'm sure it's going to be very beneficial. All of the links of the coding stuff that she mentioned will go down below. And Hannah is checking those things out so I can see her brain working, thinking, for this job, I'm going to do what Tusi does. Did you enjoy that, Tusi?
I did actually.
Do you want to? I think you should. It'd be really good for you to have. I mean, not that you got time, but like if you ever did have time to do a YouTube channel where you really help people with this shit, because I don't feel like we get enough of it in. Look at me talking about school. We're 33. Don't get enough of it in school. Like even when Tusi's talking to me about it, I'm like, I can't even imagine having to do that now.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we could do it. I mean, maybe you could just do it for me.
Have you got a YouTube channel? No.
Not anymore.
You did.
You did have one.
But let's
did
not
you?
talk about that on here. Okay.
Did you?
See you in a bit. Today's outfit's a bit weird. Old trousers. This old denim jacket that's mine from years ago that I stole back from Tusi because Tusi had stolen it. But anyway, I have this to unbox. Has been here while I was in Berlin. So now that I'm here, let us unbox it together. Sorry, by the way, that shutter over there is so loud when it gets windy. Anyway, let us open the box. It's going to get messy. Oh, it's from Sky. Oh, I'm a bit late to the party. It's the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Damn, but I was in Berlin. You are cordially invited to join Sky News in celebrating the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Oh, I'm so late to the party. It says mole. This is nice. Hold on, let me come closer. So we have this
Oh, it's moleskin.
fancy black box. What is it?
Moleskin and something. Patagonia.
Oh,
it's just
Hannah,
a really fancy notebook.
it's a bloody notebook. I was
That's
just
so
saying how I need
nice.
one today for my notes. Wow, so beauty. I like.
Oh, Biscuiteers biscuits! Oh, my god,
lovely.
I love them. Look at that.
She's just unboxing everything behind the bloody
Wow,
camera.
corgis.
Like, are you okay?
That's so cute.
Can I show everyone? Do you see? Are you okay?
Yum. What else do they have?
Biscuits. For God's sake, Tusi. Wow!
Oh my God, look at this pen!
Oh my God, a crown pen!
So sticky, though.
Happy Platinum Jubilee. Oh, why is the pen sticky? That's annoying. Who wants a corgi, Bicky?
Bit dusty,
Corgi
this.
or corgi?
Special cuvee.
Who wants a corgi biscuit? Tusi, do you want a corgi?
Can't, there's gluten in it.
Hannah Dykes, you want a corgi? I'll have the crown.
I think they're
Nah.
usually gingerbread biscuiteers.
No, they're not. They're not ginger, they're like buttery. Which
Aw.
one? What would you
They're
like?
quite cute.
Yeah, you can eat one.
Are you gonna eat one?
Someone needs to eat the crown, to
Me
be
and
fair.
Hannah will only eat if we're both eating.
Someone needs to eat crown.
Well, that will be me.
No, I can't. I'm not eating gluten.
Not Tusi.
Why you?
Me.
Okay.
Oh, we have a corgi each.
Yeah.
Well, I want the crown.
Why do you want the crown? Why don't you share the
Because
crown?
it's big.
Hannah and me can like that.
What is this conversation? Right, take a biscuit. Go on.
Are you gonna eat one?
Take a biscuit. Go on. Sid, would you like a corgi? Oh, yeah. Sid's on his important diet. Okay, that's it.